Hey guys, okay, so we're gonna have another little video about perspective for you guys to follow along with. As I mentioned before, I'm gonna show you guys how 1 point perspective usually works in an interior setting. So just to set the scene for you auditorially a little bit here. I'm actually sitting in my studio right now, and I am staring at the back wall of my studio. To the left is a wall with a window on it. And so basically, I am sitting here in 1 point perspective. Now, it all still works the same. So I'm going to show you guys first. Remember, we draw our horizon line. I am actually sitting in my comfy chair. Oops, my horizon line. Got a little wackadoodle there. I'm sitting in my comfy chair, so my horizon line is pretty much right in the center of the room because I'm sitting down. Now, I'm going to remember that we put, the vanishing point in. And now we're going to just kind of begin to draw some vanishing lines. So if I have the edge of my wall coming up here, going back to the vanishing point like this, and it's coming down right here, going back to the vanishing point. Oops, come on, give me a straight line there, Procreate, thank you. That's kind of the edge of my room. I'm going to go ahead and draw in, this is the top of where the wall meets the ceiling. Here is that corner. That's at where the wall, one wall joins the other wall. And here's the floor right here. Now, remember I said that there was a window in my studio. It's actually my favorite thing in my studio. So my window comes in, it's about a foot down from the top of the wall. I'm going to draw that vanishing point all the way down. There's the top edge of my window. And it's also about maybe a foot off the floor. It goes back to the vanishing point. There's the bottom edge of my window. So again, I'm going to get my red, and just kind of outline my window here for you. I'm going to draw down this edge, cutting it off, keeping it a straight line. It would be the window, right? The window here is going to be parallel with the corner of the room right there, right? Okay, so there's my window. Now I'm going to draw the back wall for you. This is actually the wall where my drawing table and my computer sit. It's actually a pretty long room, but in order to make a point, I'm not going to draw the whole thing. So we're just going to draw. This now is the top corner of the room. And this would be the bottom corner. Right, here's my fuzzy rug down here. I've got a little bit of swirly ceiling action up here. So that's the difference in those two surfaces. Now, remember, I've got to keep my vanishing lines going. And we're in 1 point perspective. So I'm going to draw up to the edge of the other edge of where the top of my room is. So it's right there. I'm going to draw this down. So I'm essentially sitting inside a box. As you can see, my vanishing lines have intersected right here where I thought that my room would be, or where I thought, the ceiling here and the wall would be. You can see this is where the vanishing line is intersecting this. Now, I was drawing my ceiling line way far over, but that's actually incorrect, because if I had done this, if I had drawn out like this, my room would not actually be in correct perspective, because this line here is higher on the page than this. You can see where this intersects the picture plane up here at the top. And here, drawing it out to the edge of this room, it's intersecting the picture plane over here on the side. But because my house is built square, it's not a wacky one, Alice in Wonderland house, I've got to go back and say, no, if this top of the roof line intersects the picture plane at the top of the picture plane, so here's the roof line coming up, intersecting right here, then this side must also be the same. And likewise down here, if this floor line intersects the picture plane right here, coming off the bottom of the picture plane, then this would also be the same. So what that means is that I need to get my red, and here is actually the edge of my studio. I'm just going to erase this one, this incorrect vanishing line, so that it's not confusing for us. I'm going to erase this edge and redraw the correct edge of my studio. There we go. So anything that sits inside the room would also follow this 1-point perspective. So let's just say that I have an ottoman. There's an edge of the ottoman that my feet are propped on right now while I'm drawing this. Now, as you can see, I'm starting to kind of rough it in with, just kind of guessing where the edge would be. But I actually don't want to do that, because even just guessing at it, I'm making a mistake with where this line is. Because, as you can see, this line is trying to line up on a vanishing point over here. So instead, I'm going to draw off of the edge of this ottoman to the vanishing line. Here's another one coming up. She's going to come down like that. And let this kind of be straight in towards the bottom of the picture plane. And so this is actually where my ottoman is in the room. So I need to erase this incorrect line. And I can go ahead and draw my ottoman in right here, making the top of it come over, and this drop down. As you can see, this is a very sharp angle in, so while it looks like we could see this side, and that's initially what I thought, we actually don't see this side of, of my ottoman. And if this ottoman had stripes on it, each one of those stripes would also need to match up to the vanishing point, just like this. Now you can end up with a lot of these little green lines going everywhere. Oops, see, you can see I sat there going, oh, I know where that stripe's going to be, but I was 100% wrong. This is one of the reasons that we start out perspective drawing in our vanishing lines, because that tells us really where the different parts, where the different lines are. I'm going to go ahead, draw another set of green right here. There we go. Put my last stripe on my ottoman there, just like that. Now, say I had a big bookshelf on this wall. So a bookshelf obviously starts out as a rectangle. And again, because we're in 1-point perspective, I'm just going to draw a long, tall rectangle right here. Just like I was drawing those squares in our previous video. It's coming down. It's actually probably crossing off the picture plane, but I'm just going to go ahead and put that right there. Now, in order to draw the shelves, I'm again going to have to think about where those shelves would impact that vanishing point. And then I would draw the edge of the bookshelf over here, coming down in a line that's parallel to the edge of the room. Now, obviously, if I wanted this to be a wall-to-wall bookshelf, I could actually draw the line right here. And now, because it's sitting in front of the edge of the wall a little bit, it indicates that it's going all the way and touching this wall right here. Because our corner, the corner of the room, this corner just disappeared behind the bookshelf. So now I'm going to erase this. Get rid of this corner a little bit. So now we have our bookshelf sitting here against the wall. And then our shelves on the bookshelf would all be drawn the same way. So just sit here and let the lines go down to the horizon line, or go down to the vanishing point, indicating where each shelf on the bookshelf would be. Now, say I wanted a big shelf down here. Maybe I've got like a big storage box sitting on this bottom shelf. If I want to show where the back of the bookcase is, I'm going to draw a line down from this back corner right here. And now this indicates where the back of the shelf is. Oops, I need to do the same thing down here. Draw that up. So now that shows where the back of the shelf is. So now I can come in and draw across to the back corner of the shelf. And then this is going to allow me to put in each one of my shelves on the bookcase. Just like this. In order to show the bottom of this shelf right here, we would see the bottom. Now I'm going to draw the edge of it over, just like I were closing off a cube. This is going to be parallel to the horizon line. Same thing here, parallel to the horizon line. Now this one, because it's below the horizon line, we would see the top, but I still need to draw the edge of the shelf across parallel to the horizon line. And now I have my intersection point to do all of these vanishing lines, showing me where the shelf would line up. So I'm not guessing. I'm going to start a line this way towards the vanishing point and then come out this way, making these two lines be exactly straight. Make sure that lined up pretty good. Yeah, there we go. Now this one, this middle shelf right here, which is right on the horizon line, this middle shelf, because it's right on the horizon line, I'm not seeing a top or a bottom because it is on the horizon line. But as y'all know, shelves are not paper thin, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of dimension here. I'll go ahead and draw in the rest of our shelves here, like this. And now this would be the same way. They all need just a little bit of dimension. But you've got to follow that, that vanishing point. You've got to follow to that vanishing point on each one. You can kind of, let it run up next to it a little bit. As you can see, as the perspective gets ever so slightly closer to us, just like this, our shelves get a little bit thicker. So they're a little thinner here, they're a little thicker here, a little thinner here, a little thicker there. And the same thing would be the case down here. As it's coming towards us, it's a little thicker here, a little thinner there. We'll go ahead and draw all these in. Just like that, and I'm going to erase the back of this shelf a little bit. Right here, so our shelves are lining up correctly. And so there you go. I've got a bookshelf drawn in my studio with my ottoman right here and my window. I'm actually going to go ahead and erase going to give a bit of eraser to all these green lines here, let them disappear a little bit. I'm not really erasing them, I'm actually just kind of turning down their opacity. Back there. And so you guys should be able to see how your room begins to take shape. But it's correctly shaped because we followed to that vanishing point on the horizon line for each one of these pieces. For each one of these pieces inside the room. So there we go. This is a room done in 1-point perspective using the vanishing point in the middle of the horizon line in the middle of the room and showing how the corners of the room intersect the picture plane, come in, form the top, sides, and bottom of that cube, and how everything inside the room does the same thing. This is the top, this is the front that's showing to us, this is the bottom down here, and we can see that for each one of these as well.